Hey, I'm Mike, and this is the weekly recap for the week of July 16th to the 22nd. I just can't stop leveling alts. It is a sickness, it's a disease. I never thought I'd be an altoholic, but here I am leveling everything. This past week, I got in MOP my Dark Iron Dwarf Death Knight to 70, my Nightborn Warlock to 70, my Alliance Drakthir Evoker to 70, and my Draenei Shaman to 70. And I also, through Time Walking, finished up my Troll Hunter in retail and got him to 70 as well. I set myself up pretty nicely this week to get a bunch of characters to 70, and this is, I keep saying this is the last batch, but this is like pretty much the last batch. There might be a couple more I get leveled up just to like change out some names. Like for example, when Demon Hunters first came out in Legion, I thought Matt Demon was a hilarious name, and I kind of don't like that name anymore. So instead of just renaming it or having that Demon Hunter be that character's name, I'm just going to probably remake a Demon Hunter and change the name and get him to level 70 that way. I'm probably not going to go too much more ham with getting like all the race class combos I thought were cool. I'm probably just going to stick with what I have. It's just a couple more characters maybe that I'll create, but I'm kind of starting to feel that burnout with all the leveling, so I'm going to take it easy, finish off what I have left. But next week there's going to be a whole bunch of 70s, I think, so setting myself up really nice for that. And at this point, since I've been able to play all of the specs a little bit at least, I just wanted to kind of give my quick thoughts at least on them. For Death Knights, I liked all the specs. I really enjoyed my time with them, and I wouldn't even mind having my Blood Death Knight be my tank. I really like Death Knight tanking, it felt really fun. The DPS specs were enjoyable as well. Demon Hunter tanks I'm not really the biggest fan of, but the DPS spec is much more enjoyable. Druids overall I didn't really like, they just kind of felt just not really my playstyle. I don't know, I'm not really the big fan of Balance or Feral. The way Guardian felt wasn't really, I don't really know how I'd explain it. It just wasn't really for me. It felt like I was missing something. And then Restoration, I really don't like healing through dots. It just kind of stresses me out. So, or Hot Thrash rather, I should say. I mean, overall Druid, it's a nice class because you can do literally everything. But just it's not really my type of playstyle. Evokers are another class where I'm just kind of like, I don't really like the playstyle all that much. I just don't like the way their spells work and how many of them have this kind of like cast time, but like the longer you cast, the more damage it does, the more targets you heal, or the more targets you deal damage to. It's just, I don't know, it's definitely unique and interesting. I wouldn't mind playing them a little bit more. It's just, I don't really find myself gravitating towards them all that much. For Hunters, I liked all three specs. I've always enjoyed playing Hunter. They're a lot of fun. I definitely wouldn't mind keeping at least 100 at max level, mostly for PvP. I just really like that as a ranged DPS option in PvP. I think Beastmaster and Marksman are more fun for me than Survival, but I did enjoy myself playing Survival. It was kind of weird playing a melee Hunter, but I did enjoy doing that. Mages are awesome. I love playing all three specs. So the only mage I made in MOP was the Arcane Mage because I already had a Fire and a Frost in retail. Arcane's a lot of fun. I understand now what Mitch Jones was talking about with the Arcane Dream. It's just fun to play. I really wouldn't mind making that Arcane Mage my main mage at whatever point. As cool as Frost and Fire are, which they are, there's something about Arcane that is just really, really cool and fits the class fantasy of a mage just perfectly. For monks, I really did not like this class. Again, the Brewmaster, I mentioned it when I started playing Brewmaster, it just felt weird. I did find myself kind of getting a little bit more into it, but overall still, it just really wasn't for me. Again, I don't really know how to articulate it. It just feels like it's missing something. Mistweaver was an interesting healing style where it's like, I forget the name of it, but like you're healing with one spell while you're casting other spells to make them do more healing or whatever. That was kind of interesting. I liked that playstyle, but just again, it was, of all the healers, it just wasn't my favorite. And then the DPS spec was just kind of whatever, just not really memorable. For Paladins, I like all three specs. I really like Holy Paladins just because from back in the day, I'm a big fan of Athene, and just really fun kind of being a human paladin and healing just that way. I don't know, Paladins are really cool overall, so just I really enjoyed that. Same with tanking, it was just kind of a very similar to Warrior, which I really liked. It's just a very simple, effective spec to play with. And Ret is just a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed Paladins overall, so I definitely wouldn't mind having a high-level Paladin moving forward. Priest overall, I hated all three specs. I do not like playing Priest. I really don't like Discipline or Holy. They're both just awful. I did not enjoy at all playing those. And then Shadow just feels like it's missing everything. I do not like playing Shadow. I don't like Priest. One of my least favorite classes, followed only by the Rogue, which there was a Reddit post, I think over the weekend, talking about the worst classes to level, and pretty much every comment said Rogue. And I get it. All three Rogue specs sucked. Outlaw, I think, is probably the one that I enjoyed the most, but still, it was awful. It feels like everything is just, you're doing nothing. I think it's the assassination that I leveled last, and it's just, I feel like I'm spamming one ability, and then like all my other abilities are just dots. And so I have a bunch of combo points. All my dots are like 20 seconds left. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just refresh a 20-second dot again, I guess. I don't know what's happening in the War Within, but rogues need a huge change because that was not fun at all. And considering that Reddit post, a lot of people agree with me. For Shaman, I really enjoyed Enhancement and Restoration. I kind of think the Resto Chamois is going to be my primary healer moving forward. I really enjoyed my time playing him, and just something about that playstyle was the most fun of all the healers that I played. Elemental was also a good spec, but just, I don't know, Enhancement just felt more fun. For Warlock, I don't really mind Warlock that much. It's just not really something that I'm excited to play. It's a fine class. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's whatever. I'm kind of neutral on all 3 specs. And of course, Warrior, it's the one I know the most. I only created 1 Warrior in MoP just to make a prop pally, which I really enjoyed that. And then I've played Fury and Arms many times in the past, so and I enjoyed those specs. Warrior is probably my favorite class, so I think having played now all the specs, I don't think Warrior is taken out of that top spot. I really enjoy playing Warrior. So moving forward, I always say this every expansion, I want to have multiple max level characters and kind of level all of them and do different things on all of them. In a perfect world, if I could do that, I'd love to have 1 of each role per faction. So 1 tank healer and DPS for Horde, and 1 tank healer DPS for Alliance at least. Looking through my characters, I think that for the Horde, I'm probably going to have my Warrior still be my main, so he'll be my DPS. I could always make him a tank as well, so I mean that's a possibility, but if anything, I'd probably just make my Death Knight my tank, and then my Shaman be my healer for that. For Alliance, for DPS, I would love to do Mage and or Hunter. I really enjoyed Hunter, so I'm leaning more towards that. For healer, I'd probably make it my Paladin. And for tank, I'd probably also do Paladin, but if I wanted to spice it up, I might do Druid. Actually, I'd probably lean more towards Demon Hunter, to be honest, if I don't want to do Paladin. But we'll see. That's a lot of leveling. That's a lot of playing other classes and kind of splitting my time up, which historically I haven't been fond of, but we'll see kind of how the War Within plays out and whether or not I want to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the leveling process. MoP was something that I knew that I was going to spend a lot of time leveling alts in. I didn't think I was going to be this many alts, but I'm glad it has been. It's been a great experience, and I'm working on a MoP review to kind of post when the event is kind of closer to the end, so I'm working on that slowly, and we'll have that out later in August. Outside of MoP, in retail, the only other thing I really did was did a bunch of Dragon Soul runs. I'm kind of getting really frustrated that last mount that I need is not dropping. So now I'm just taking any level 70 that I have and parking them outside of Dragon Soul, and every week I'm just going to run as many as I can. And I had the realization that when all these, like, I don't know, 30 or whatever level 70 MoP characters that I have, when they go into retail, it's going to be rough. It's going to be great, but it's going to be rough if I have to keep running Dragon Soul on all of them. I think my Warrior alone has, I think, 110 or so runs. And then all my other characters, I think in total, I have to be nearing 150 at this point. So hopefully it drops soon, because I just want that over with. For achievements this week, I started the week at 38,920. I got 10 more points, so ending not only the week, but the Dragonflight expansion at 38,930. The achievement I got was just to get the 2 professions in Dragonflight to max level, which I've been working on enchanting throughout the entirety of the expansion. I finally got that done. I didn't accomplish my goal of getting to 40,000 achievement points before the War Within came out, but I know that when I played the beta, I think it was 120 more achievement points when the account-wide stuff came in. I don't know if that is going to be the for sure number, because there might have been some stuff that wasn't being calculated or just wasn't working properly, so I do think I definitely will get over 39,000 when the servers come up today. But I think that once the War Within actually launches, getting to 40k is going to be very easy. I imagine getting even to 41k is going to be pretty simple, because there's going to be so many achievements early on that are so easy to get. So focusing on that and then working towards 45k is definitely the big goal, which will be the longest, but I'm excited for that. I'm excited to finally crack 40k. I forgot actually to talk about in retail as well on my Warrior, because I did the Mythic Pluses last week. I had some vault options, and there was a 519 Mythic Plus helm that I took. I can't upgrade it because I have no crests, and I probably will not be able to. I don't know if crests go away with the pre-patch today, but I'm probably not going to do a whole bunch of Mythic Plus anyway to get that upgraded. But I took that helm, I catalyzed it to a tier piece so I could keep my 4-piece. And for my item level, I started at 513.43, and I'm ending at 514.5. In other news, like I mentioned last week, I went to the amusement park on Wednesday, had a fantastic time. It was so much fun. Great weather, did not rain. I definitely felt it on the way home. I don't know if anyone here rides roller coasters, that feeling when you're not on a roller coaster, but you feel like you're on a roller coaster. I love that. I also mentioned last week that I'm on vacation, and this past week and weekend this happens every time I'm on vacation, but I was sitting in my partner's backyard yesterday just enjoying the sun, and it was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just had a thought of what day is it today? I think it's Monday, and I just love that. I just love being on vacation like anyone would. But being on vacation kind of revitalizes me both to going back to work, but also revitalizes me in kind of working towards my passions and my hobbies and making them as much as I can be something that is an income for me, so I can spend my life doing that. There's something about being home on a Monday afternoon when everyone else is at work, and like you look outside, everyone's driveway is empty. Many years ago, I asked a newly retired person, I think they're like 3 or 4 months into being retired, I asked them what it feels like to be retired, and they said it feels like every day is Saturday. And ever since I heard that, I've just been working towards that because that was such a powerful thing for me to hear, and I was like, wow, that sounds incredible, and I want that so bad. So as much as I can, I try to work towards that. In the world of media, I watched a few movies this week. I finished off the Jim Carrey filmography that I've been talking about like a month or two ago. So I finished watching Dumb and Dumber 2. I had seen it in the past, it's just been a minute. It just was not a great movie, not even close to the first one especially. I watched Dark Crimes, which was kind of this murder mystery that wasn't really that interesting. It was kind of boring. So that was the last movie of his that I needed to watch. I know he has some shows as well that I could watch, but just in terms of movies, that's it for Jim Carrey. So overall, a pretty legendary career and a lot of fantastic movies. It's more so kind of early on in his career, but there were still some great ones later on. And then on Friday, I went to go see Twisters in the theater. It was okay. I think overall, I just wouldn't probably go and watch it again, or I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again. I don't think it was as good as the original. Few things ever are, but overall, it's a pretty good time. This week upcoming, we've got the pre-patch coming out today. The servers are going to be down for a little bit of time. I imagine the maintenance will probably get extended by at least an hour or two. So when I log in today, I'm probably going to go through all of my characters and just make sure all my achievements are getting kind of thrown into the pile. That way there's nothing being missed. I'm going to put all of my currencies onto one character if I can, specifically like my time warp badges that can all go on my main. And then I'm going to spend some time this week going through any alts that I played in retail and just cleaning out their bags at kind of the end of expansion cleanup, which especially specifically on my warrior is going to take a little bit of time, but it always is nice doing that and just kind of freeing up some space and seeing all the stuff I've been holding on to for the last 2 years go away. But that's what happened to me this past week. Let me know what happened for you. Whether it's in WoW, any version of it, whether it's classic, retail, MOP, are you playing other games, do anything in real life that's interesting and you want to talk about, any good movies or music or shows you've been watching or books you've read, let me know. I'd love to hear it. If you like this video or any of my others and you haven't already subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you could at least consider it because I'm trying to get to 100K and that would be fantastic and any little bit helps. Even if you don't though, I love you. Thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic week. I'll talk at you next week. Love you lots. Stay safe. See ya.